how exactly to apply for the targeted EIDL grant, the $10,000 targeted grant. We're going to walk through every single step of the portal. That way, once you receive the email to go ahead and apply for the difference of whatever you received, if you received $1,000, $2,000, whatever the difference is between that and $10,000, this is exactly how you're going to apply. Now, I got my hands on the actual portal itself, so we're going to walk through every page of the application portal. And just so you know, the first group of people who will receive a link to this portal will be those who receive less than $10,000 at some point in 2020. You have already applied for the EIDL grant. You received some amount of funding, less than $10,000, and you live in a low-income area. Those are the first people who will receive the links to this application. The next group will be anyone who applied before December 27th, 2020 for the EIDL grant and haven't received anything yet. Now, it's going to take a few weeks for all of these to be sent out, so you might be watching this a few weeks after I record it, but this will be what you need to do as soon as you receive that email. It seems the very first emails and invitations to apply for this are going to the very lowest income areas first. Now let's just jump into this portal and I'll show you exactly everything you need to do for this grant. So this is the first page of the portal itself. You're going to receive an email from the SBA. It's from targetedadvance@sba.gov. And then it brings you to this. It'll have your application number right in the middle of the page there. I blocked this one out. You'll just enter in your EIN or social security number in order to kind of log in. Unfortunately, I don't have a direct link for anyone to go to because everyone will have their own unique link. As you can see, that application number is unique to everyone. You'll have your own URL here. Now onto the next page. This is, I guess, the first page of the actual portal itself. It just gives a ton of information here about the targeted EIDL advanced application. So it says the SBA is collecting the requested information in order to determine whether you are eligible for a targeted economic injury disaster loan advance. The SBA may provide you with a targeted EIDL advance of up to $10,000 for working capital if you meet certain conditions. The combined amount of the targeted EIDL advance and any previously received EIDL advance may not exceed $10,000. If you already got $10,000, you're not going to get anything more. That was the boat that I'm in with my business. We received $10,000 the first time because we have more than 10 employees. Now you will not be required to repay the targeted EIDL advance or the first EIDL advance. If you have any questions, you can call their customer service number right here. The SBA will use information that you previously submitted with your COVID-19 EIDL and EIDL advance application in addition to new information requested in this application to determine your eligibility. Your response to this application is required for the SBA to make this determination. And also in the email that they send with the link to this application, they say make sure all your information is accurate because you might not be able to appeal any info. So you'll want to make sure you're doing all these steps correctly the first time. Otherwise, you might not receive the grant under current guidance, which it's kind of crazy to me that they would say. Kind of sucks to suck, but that's why you're watching this video, so you can make sure you're doing everything properly. And then we got the Paperwork Reduction Act. The estimated time for completing this portion of the application is 30 minutes. It's not going to take 30 minutes, trust me. It's much shorter than that. And just scrolling down on the first page, these are just screenshots, of course, of the actual application. It says the applicant must review and respond to all of the following questions. Please note that owner includes each proprietor, each limited partner or LLC member who owns 20% more interest, each general partner or managing member, and each stockholder or entity owning 20% or more voting stock. If the applicant does not meet the initial eligibility requirements, applicant will not be able to proceed with the remainder of this application. Now, there are a ton of bubbles. There's like 20 or so that you'll need to certify on here. Are all the owners of the applicant U.S. citizens, non-citizen nationals, or qualified aliens? Yes or no? Is the principal of the applicant with a 50% or greater ownership interest more than 60 days delinquent on child support obligations? Yes or no? There's going to be a lot of questions here where you're going to think, why does this even apply? But we got to answer these anyways. In the past year, has any owner of the applicant been convicted of a felony committed during and in connection with a riot or civil disorder or other declared disaster? Number 4, has the applicant or owners of the applicant ever been engaged in the production or distribution of any product or service that has been determined to be obscene by the court of competent jurisdiction? Just about every business can apply. 99.5% of businesses can apply. So for most cases, you'll be able to certify all of these. Number 5, is the applicant or owners of the applicant currently suspended or debarred from contracting with the federal government or receiving federal grants or loans? Again, you're going to know whether that's a yes or no for you. Is any owner of the applicant currently incarcerated? Hopefully you know if yourself or one of your business partners are incarcerated. Is the owner of the applicant presently subject to an indictment, criminal information, arraignment, or other means by which formal criminal charges are brought in any jurisdiction for any felony? Yes or no? And then within the last 5 years involving felony, fraud, bribery, embezzlement, are you able to apply for this? A lot of these questions are very similar to the Paycheck Protection Program. Now, scrolling down a little bit further from here, is the applicant engaged in any illegal activity as defined by federal guidelines, including selling recreational or medical marijuana? Does the applicant present live performances that have some kind of sexual nature? Does the applicant derive more than 1/3 of gross annual revenue from legal gambling activities? Is the applicant primarily engaged in political or lobbying activities? Is the applicant owned by a state, local, or municipal government entity other than tribal entities? Is the applicant owned by a member of Congress? Is the applicant in agricultural enterprise? Is the applicant a nursery farm that derives 50% or more of annual receipts from the production and sale of ornamental plants and other nursery products that they grow? That's oddly specific, but you should know, yes or no, if your business is that. Number 17, is the applicant a pawn shop that derived more than 50% of the previous year's income from interest? Number 18, is the applicant engaged in lending or investment? Number 19, is the applicant a loan packager that earns more than 1/3 of its gross annual revenue from packaging SBA loans? Number 20, is the applicant engaged in multi-level sales distribution? Now we just got 2 more here. Is the applicant engaged in real estate development or investment other than rental properties? Is the applicant a life insurance company? And how many employees does the applicant have as of the date of this targeted EIDL advance application? Now, there's no word that they're going to base the targeted advance on number of employees, but you'll want to be truthful no matter what on that box there to enter in the correct number of employees. And then we just have definitions here of what a non-citizen national is and what a qualified alien is. You can pause that if you need more information on it. All right, the next page, this is where you're just confirming your business information. Confirmation of previously submitted information. The information below was submitted with your previous application. Just confirm that everything is still accurate with your business or organization. Revise any information that has changed. Ensure the legal name of your business is entered correctly and that it matches your 2019 tax return. This would be the business owner's name in some cases, such as a sole proprietorship or independent contractor. Yeah, if you're a sole prop, chances are the business name is your name unless you have some kind of DBA. If you have an entity like an LLC, then you're going to want to use your LLC's name because you want everything to match. The LLC's name to the bank account to the application, everything should match. Otherwise, it might throw some errors in their system. And that was really highlighted in the email that the SBA sends along with this application. I have a video that covers that email and the instructions as well if you're curious. All right, now moving on from here, this is pretty self-explanatory. It's your business information. You can see you're just confirming your address, and of course, this is how they're going to confirm the low income area requirement, the 20% poverty rate, or the 80% median family income qualifying criteria. So you're going to enter in that information here, what your business activity is. The more detailed business activity, you can see it's a drop down. Your bank information, make sure your bank name is correct, the official name of the bank, the routing number is correct, the account number is correct, and how much of an EIDL advance you previously received, and then you're just certifying everything down on the bottom there. Then after you do that, you need to confirm your gross receipts for each month. Now this is going to be kind of tedious. because we need to show a more than 30% reduction in gross receipts from an 8-week period after March 2nd, 2020, compared to an 8-week period before March 2nd, 2020, and up to January 1st, 2019. So in order to certify this, you need to put your gross receipts for each and every month for all of 2019, all of 2020, and the first month, at least so far, of 2021. So it's going to be kind of tedious because you're probably going to have to go through all your bank statements in order to do this. And I would recommend while you're doing that to just download each of those bank statements, because you might need to upload those somewhere later anyway. So while you're going through it, you might as well put them in a file real quick, just so it's a little bit easier later on. But you can see there is a lot to fill out here. And going to the next screenshot, you can see it just goes through the entire year. And it just says if any statement is false here, you're going to go to prison forever, and you certify under penalty of perjury under the laws that everything here is correct. And then you're just certifying what kind of tax return you use for 2019. It just says on the top of your tax return. So like I have a LLC S Corp, and my form was 1120S. If you're a sole proprietor, chances are it's a form 1040, but it'll say on the top of your form. Now from here, that's just further confirmation on this and the entity type. And it just says your targeted EIDL advance application was submitted. There's your application number, use as a reference, write that down somewhere. It says you will not receive an automatic email confirming this submission. Please write down your application number for your records. And also, let me just read this next part because I thought this was a little bit curious, because I expected that there would be some kind of document upload, but there isn't as a part of this. But it says, if we are able to successfully process your request, your application will move forward to the next stage of processing, and you will receive a follow-up email notifying you of changes to your application status. If we are not able to approve your request, you will receive an email explaining the processing decision. So it says if you're accepted, your application will move forward to the next stage of processing. This makes me think that there's going to be some kind of document upload at that point. Probably both certifying your address and a document upload if I were to make a bet on what exactly is going to be needed. And for most people, you're going to be able to upload bank statements to show that proof of reduction in income. And that's going to do it for this application. It's fairly straightforward. Another thing to remember is the Paycheck Protection Program is still open. It still has funding. If you haven't applied for that, you should also apply for that, because this EIDL grant thing is going to take a little while. Even once you get the application, submit it, then it'll be at least 21 days after that before you receive the grant funding. So I would also apply for the PPP as soon as you can, because if you can apply for the EIDL, you can likely get the PPP. I'll have a link in the description where you can apply for the PPP if you have not yet. So that's going to do it for today. If you enjoy these sneak peeks and in-depth walkthroughs, make sure you're subscribed and like this video if you enjoyed it. So I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a profitable day.